Nerd Skool is a member of the Queen City Podcast Network.
Hey, fellows. It's the first night of another season.
Nerds roll. Nerds roll.
Oh, my glasses are broken. And this will begin season 2 of Nerd Skool.
Welcome back to season 2, Nerd High. Glad to have you.
It's gonna be crazy stunts. We're gonna there's gonna be stunts.
Joe's
gonna
bring more penis jokes.
There's a lot of penis stuff.
I am a super nerd.
The Nerd Skool Podcast.
Starring Andy,
Star Spangled Banner with a plan.
Maybe I'll try to do a cartwheel.
TBJ.
Welcome. Congratulations. You did dirt. Ta-da. I got no shame. All my exes can tune in. We can have an episode where I compare them to all the Marvel villains. We can do that.
Art Star.
I don't love Wiener.
I'm just trying to make money.
Lord Artemis Prime rises.
Yeah, my real name is Joe. Did I ever tell you about the time I hung out with DMC at Mertz?
The Nerd Skool Podcast.
Hi, this is Gruff from the Gruff and Loud Show. And now, the Nerd Skool continues their conversation on Guardians of the Galaxy.
School's back in session.
Dear audience, please don't hate me today. There is a horrible vocal fry on top of death.
Are you sure you're up for this?
I'm here.
Recording?
I mean,
Okay.
I thought we were on Age of Ultron, but let's get back to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, the good
Second
thing
half
is
of the movie.
we can do Age of Ultron when you're feeling better, so you can
Yeah.
continue to coast in the Guardians of the Galaxy that you didn't care for.
Listen, I really don't. I tried this time. I was like, oh, no, I just don't care about Guardians of the Galaxy. Sorry. I like Gamora. Girl power. So, yeah.
It's funny because it's such a. It seems like it's a lot of the nerds' favorite.
A lot of people love it. I don't know why I didn't love it. Like, I can't give you a solid reason. I can't be like,
maybe because Art Star liked it.
I didn't know he liked it, so it couldn't have been it.
Oh, I
and it wasn't. And all the stuff about Chris Pratt that I don't like came out after this, so it's not that.
Yeah.
Maybe I sensed the vibes. Maybe the vibes told me that he was not cool, and then I was like, I don't love it.
Yeah,
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It's no Howard the Duck, so.
Well, let's.
What is Howard the Duck, though?
Howard the Duck was bad.
Listen, he showed up in this sucker, though.
He did.
That's true.
That's right.
Post-credit scene. That's weird. He looks totally different. All right, let's jump back in. So they get the prison break, and they just miss Ronan, who decides to cleanse the kiln. Cleanse it. Kill everybody, because they can't know we're here. Or that we're after the orb, I guess. Oh, that sounds right.
He's here to destroy things, so destroy it all.
And then Yondu asks the broker who his buyer is, and he does that
Yondu.
What I say, Yondu? Yeah, I wrote Yondu.
That sounded so
Yondu.
Professor E of you, Andy.
Right. Well, I gotta play the role sometimes.
Spelling
I'm here
counts.
for it. Do it.
Yondu Udanta.
Yondu. He asks
Like
his
fondue,
broker,
except Yondu.
like fondue and Yondu. I have it written in my notes right sometimes, but sometimes it says Yondu.
You probably spelled it with 2 O's, and then you didn't know how many O's to put in. Yondoo.
Yondu. No, I did Yondu. Is that wrong?
No, that's correct.
When I did it right, but this is Google Keep or whatever, and so it really always tries to autocorrect shit all the time. It drives me nuts. Anyway, he's at the broker with his little, mumbling, like picking on the little broker guy, won't let him talk, and me, and all that stuff. With James.
That's when Yondu's not all bad.
Yeah, he's kind of funny, and he's there with Tim Gunn or John Gunn, Jeff Gunn,
Sean Gunn.
Sean Gunn. Yeah, that's the one my wife knows.
I don't know if Tim Gunn is.
Tim Gunn is the get to work, people.
Make it work.
Right, make it work.
Tim Gunn is an alumni of this college that I graduated from.
Really?
Oh, look at you, 6 degrees of fancy.
We got all the guns.
You just turned on Joe's famous notable alumni senses.
Notable alumni. Art Star. Bring that up.
Ready.
Red and blue, home of the Cougars. That's made up the colors. Okay. And then the collector, then we see the collector for the first time, Tannelir Tivan. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
A fictional character appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics, created by writer Stan Lee and artist Don Heck. The character
doing homework.
The
Oh,
character
right.
first appeared in the Avengers number 28, May 1966.
Are you trying to take
sound right?
Andy's job?
I just
He's
wanted
like
to. This is the first time I ever did this. Really, like during
Joe's
the-
like a scroll. He's just absorbing other people's powers.
I only wrote these
Before
down.
you know it, it's just going to be Joe. The Nerd School podcast.
It's just gonna be my
DJ
podcast.
Joe.
No,
I know. The
I
rest of
actually
us
did
go
this.
away.
when I did these notes, I did these to go into comicsology and try to read all of them. But this one I didn't get to. I wanted to see the first. I love origin stories. I love seeing the first time somebody comes and then see if it's anything like when we introduce them in the MCU. But I didn't look at this one.
That's a cool nerd thing to do.
Is Don Heck the right name? Is that how you say
Yeah.
it? Don fucking Heck.
How else would you say Don Heck?
I don't know. I
was
thought
about to
maybe
say,
I
there's
spelled it
only
wrong. Or,
so many ways you can mispronounce
Don Heck.
Don
yeah.
or Heck.
He's been in a bunch of stuff apparently, right? The Collector. he's been
Benicio del
around for-
Toro. Yeah. Well, this is the first time we see him, but he's one of the in comics. He's one of the elders of the universe. Who there's a handful. There's like the gardener, the runner. They're like very like weird sort of basic types. The Grandmaster who shows up later, Jeff Goldblum. But it's the movies are different, but in the comics, they for a while like they had possession. Each elder of the universe had a possession of one of the Infinity Stones, and so this is kind of their way of involving them in the Infinity Quest.
So one thing I did read up on this on the internet just to try to understand, because I know I asked you guys this in a previous episode when he was just a little C, it's like, is the Collector making fun of nerds or whatever? But I read something where his whole thing was he was immortal, so he's going to live forever, and he had this wife, and then when she left him, here he is at all eternity to live and nothing to do because his wife left him, so he just started collecting everything to give him kind of something to do. Does that ring a bell? Does that sound right? I think that's what I read. No, Andy's frozen, so we can't.
Probably. I don't know a whole lot about the elders in the universe, honestly, but
yeah. So I just looked that up.
But it makes sense. Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about the elders in the universe.
Is Tiffany asleep or frozen? Okay.
Listen.
Okay.
We're here. I hear you. I am slowly dying. I already told you.
Yes, hopefully this is not the last time we hear from Tiffany.
It is not. I am a resilient woman.
Yeah, she's immortal.
Fight.
Speaking of immortal, she is. So we go to the Collector on this this mining skull. It's like a skull. Yeah, nowhere of a skull of a celestial. So is a celestial the same as who's the guy who eats all the planets? Galactus. Is he a celestial? Is that the same kind of thing, or is that a different thing completely? Am I way off?
It's kind of a different thing. It's the Celestials are basically the gods of the Marvel universe. Okay. They created Earth. They created all like life. I think they sort of started the Big Bang. There are these giant, weird, sort of Jack Kirby style batshit creations of like, what do you like? Jack Kirby was amazing because he was not afraid to embrace the batshit possibilities of the cosmos.
Yeah,
like like if you get outside of Earth, shit's gonna be different.
Yeah.
There's like a horde of giant ultimate power people with weird heads, and like you get a glimpse of one of them in the Collector's little story about the Celestials when he's explaining the creation of the Infinity Stones.
Yeah,
he gives a shot of him, and then that's a Celestial. And when Star-Lord's like, I got a little pee coming out of me right now.
yeah.
That's what he's reacting to, is this giant thing that can like that life and death are beneath them. They're functioning on another level. Whereas Galactus, depending on how they pit him here, is like sort of like the embodiment of a natural force of entropy in the universe. Like he just goes around eating planets because
embodiment of a natural force of entropy.
Everything falls apart eventually, and sometimes like it's the circle of life, and he's the death part.
Okay.
Sort of. but then also the elders in the universe had a plan to try to kill Galactus. Galactus is interesting because he comes from like whatever was here before the Big Bang.
Okay.
And then he's like the last survivor of whatever existence was before the Big Bang. He sort of came through somehow and became a giant purple-hatted guy who goes around eating planets.
Okay, so here we are in the collector's place is in this mining colony that is this giant celestial's head and his brain matter and stuff. Like these people are mining it because it's worth something. It's these like pirates and things that are just like collecting this shit to sell on the black market. Right.
There in nowhere in the comics was a little different. I mean, there's I think someone that was there, but it was the head of a dead celestial, but it was kind of also where the Guardians of the Galaxy, the headquarters, eventually was.
Okay.
Before the movie, like the run they're mining a lot of this movie's plot points was from a storyline where that was their base, and Cosmo, the Russian cosmic dog, the cosmonaut dog that the collector has.
Yeah.
He's their telepathic dog leader and head of security. They actually have conversations with him all the time. He's not just a dog that walks around. Cosmo's an actual
actually
character.
a Russian, that they speak with. So this part in the movie is one of my favorite parts. They have to wait for the collector, so they're waiting off this riffraff, and so we cut to the dregs of society and Drax drinking and playing game, like betting on animals, gambling on these little creatures, and that's the first time Drax and Rocket kind of see eye to eye. It's like, let's
for 2 seconds,
drink more of this stuff. That's the first thing you said that's not batshit crazy. And so it's neat to see them kind of get along, and then it gives us time to get to know each character. We get a little bit of backstory on them and things like that. And so we cut to Gamora and Peter talking, and they each get a chance to talk about their parents and her real father and his mother and leaving the tape and everything. And he tells her about Footloose and the people with the sticks in their butts.
Reference. Yep.
Why? Who put sticks in their butts? Why did they put sticks in their butts? That was cruel. That was kind of a fun thing, because Footloose is a great movie. So
it is an excellent movie.
Yeah, isn't it? I mean,
it is. I think it's excellent. Listen, I'll turn on Footloose right now.
I can't speak to. I've never actually seen Footloose.
What?
No.
First of all,
I've never seen Footloose. I have just seen the Kenny Loggins video for Footloose where
Mr.
Kevin
Pop
Bacon
Culture?
is dancing around like a maniac.
How did you not see
the fact that Kenny Loggins was there should have had you wanting to watch it? Anytime you can listen to some Kenny Loggins, anytime you can listen to some Kenny Loggins music, you should be down.
Oh my God, there's so much wrong here.
With the world we live in, everyone is a few degrees away from Kevin Bacon, so it's weird that you didn't watch Kevin Bacon.
It's like one of the defining movies of the Kevin Bacon game.
John
Lithgow, right? Early work.
Him playing an asshole, which is nice to see because he normally is a little charming.
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Early Sarah Jessica Parker.
Let me get early. Can I say this real quick?
You can say it.
Now, we went the whole 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon kind of thing, but Kevin Bacon, right?
Yes.
And I connected him to Tom Cruise, right? Which I then also connected to Kenny Loggins. So Kevin Bacon was in A Few Good Men, which I watched last night, which had Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
And Tom Cruise was in Top Gun, which had some great Kenny Loggins songs.
We don't need Tom Cruise in this conversation.
And I believe Andy met Kenny Loggins, didn't you, when he was at the Belk? Or were you not working with us yet?
I don't recall meeting Kenny Loggins.
Oh, okay.
But my memory is not great for celebrity meetings for some reason.
Yeah, he was at the Belk, and a lot of our staff made love to him. Allegedly.
Did they go into like a private?
Allegedly,
just like on stage?
No, they met him halfway.
Oh, across the sky.
But
Footloose. Anyway, but when he did,
I will say that Footloose song though. I remember driving into work the morning that Hamilton went on sale. And it was like 4 a.m. and I was dead tired and I didn't want to be driving. But then that Footloose song came on the radio and it energized me for the entire day.
Pumped you up, didn't it? Pumped you up.
Like,
Well,
if you're
listen.
delirious at 4 a.m. driving into work,
Pumps you
crank
up.
Footloose.
Footloose. As Peter and Gamora start talking, he plays some music for her. It gets
They get a
intimate.
little
She
close.
dances a little closer, almost a kiss. And then she says, "I'm not some starry-eyed waif who will succumb to your pelvic sorcery." I love it. I love
He
that
said,
language.
"No, sir, not today."
Yes.
It's an interesting turn from the comics because Gamora would be down for that in the comics, at least back
She
in the
would be
day.
that. Yeah, but she would be.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that
initiating,
before, right?
Yeah, she would be like she'd
All
be-
over him.
Yeah,
She'd be like, "Let's get down, Playboy."
and
Yeah,
then
like she gets what she wants.
and then
Yeah.
we go back to Rocket, and that's when they get into it because he calls him Vermin, and he gets upset. The whole Rocket Vermin stuff being called that, and it's all good character development and seeing how he gets upset by this, and he's, all that stuff.
He's sensitive. He's an artist, and he's sensitive about his shit.
He's not just a raccoon. It's really good character development, I think, which is really
Yeah.
cool. And then we go to Collector's Place. Finally, they come in. That's when I see Cosmo the dog, and I knew who that was from
Where-
doing my research.
Yeah, Groot. We see Groot being sensitive to the cruelty, so you kind of get a sense that Groot is very sweet, despite being a kind of guy who hangs out with Rocket.
Oh,
He's the muscles with the heart.
I missed that totally. That he was sensitive to that game. Huh? I'll have to check that out again.
It's just like a quick, like the first like he sees one animal eat the other animal, and he's like, oh, he's very
really?
horrified by it.
Poor Groot. I like Groot. He's very ethereal and like magic and cosmic and naturey.
Would you rather have Groot or Grogu?
Groot all day.
All day.
Baby Yoda? No, Groot all the way.
My
Groot's the
nephew.
best.
It was funny. I was back in Ohio briefly to bring my mom down for Christmas. My nephew's really into the Mandalorian.
Mhm.
No, he was really he hadn't watched the Mandalorian, but he knew all about it. So I turned it on for him, and I was like, "Hey, you got to watch the Mandalorian." He's watching Star Wars with my brother, and who's watching them with him. He's getting into all of them little by little. And I was like, "Have you watched the Mandalorian?" He's like, "No." And I was like, "John, why haven't you turned
Are
it
you
on?"
watching Boba Fett, Joe?
Yeah, I started watching. My son's really into it. He already spoiled.
Did you watch episode? So yeah. Oh, spoiler alert.
He just spoiled
episode-
it for me today. Yeah.
Oh, he did. Okay.
He already spoiled. He came running out. As soon as the thing happened, he run
Right. I was
pause
like,
it, ran
oh
down.
shit, what am I watching?
I was about to say, do not spoil it. I have not watched it.
We
yet.
won't spoil it. But back in Ohio, and so we started watching it with my nephew, and he just was mesmerized. He loved the Mandalorian. He was just like,
I haven't watched it yet either.
and he loved it, but he already knew about Grogu. Because I said, "Oh, have you seen? Oh, that's Baby Yoda." He was like, "His name's not Baby Yoda. It's called Grogu." I hate it when
Well,
people,
child
It's
did the like to call.
everywhere.
he said, "I hate it when people say Baby Yoda."
I say both. Listen, I'm gonna carry
You
my
know,
nerd
in
card,
a merch
and if
for
I feel like
merchandising
saying Baby
purposes,
Yoda, I'm gonna say Baby
even
Yoda.
though they've named him,
Yeah,
they still sell the toys as like either. They don't say Baby Yoda. They have them at.
They say
as
the child. Mhm.
Yeah.
is that right? I just thought maybe they'd still call it Baby Yoda because so many people that don't watch it still want to buy it because it's cute and they think it's Yoda. But
Yeah, it is
he's
cute.
he's only 10, this kid. So it was funny to me that he said, I've never heard him ever say that he hates anything, but he hates it when
He
people
got
call
offensive
Baby
real
Yoda.
quick.
So of course he doesn't know his Uncle Joe well enough because I said Baby Yoda like 14 more times.
I was about to say,
He
I
get under
can
his
see
skin.
you doing that.
I just wanted to see because I've never seen him show any emotion at all.
I
so-
mean, you have
Why-
big feelings. When I was that age, I used to get angry that people would always call Tigger Pooh's best friend when he's not Pooh's best friend from Winnie the Pooh. Piglet is Winnie the Pooh's best friend. And we all know it, but Tigger got more playtime because he was playful and fun, and Piglet was full of anxiety. But when
Tiggers
I was
love to
that
bounce.
age, I
Wonderful
also
thing about
used to get
Tiggers.
pissed at people too, because I was like, Tigger is not his best friend.
Yeah.
So I get your nephew, is what I'm saying. I get it.
Little Colin, little CJ.
Listen, things are different when you're like 10.
Yes, they really are. They really are.
Yeah. I get it. I get his
Um,
frustration.
And that's what I'm discovering watching
bet-
things from
I bet
1980.
Tigger considers himself his best friend.
Tigger can what?
He considers himself his best friend.
Oh, yeah.
I can see
Oh,
that. Yeah.
Tigger is arrogant enough to be like, I'm Pooh's best friend, but we all know, and in the stories it is written that Piglet is his true soulmate best friend.
I think Tigger thinks he's everybody's best friend. That's
He's
Tigger.
Probably.
he's that arrogant. Yes,
Friggin' Tigger. Screw that guy.
Listen.
Tigger's the coolest.
he's the life of the party. According to him, he's the life of the party.
And screw Rabbit. While we're talking about it, that guy's an asshole.
He's just a curmudgeon. Rabbit
that
needs
guy.
love. He needs love. I don't know how we went from Guardians of the Galaxy all the way down.
Well, this has
corner.
been pent up for a long time. I've been wanting to say it. This is my chance. Fuck Rabbit from Winnie the
That's how you
Pooh.
really feel. Listen,
That's a
sometimes
dick.
Rabbit comes through. Just saying, rarely. But every friend group needs an old curmudgeon sometimes to keep the chaos at bay when they can.
That's true. And speaking
I'm
of
all for chaos.
old
Let it
curmudgeon-
chaos
No.
magic.
We know.
Well, and speaking of chaos and magic, we get the backstory of the magical stones in the collector's place, and we get a little backstory, which I had to watch like 4 times just to kind of get it a little bit. But what better way to introduce the MCU by having the central theme be stuff everybody's trying to get, a rock or a thing or whatever. So
It's a MacGuffin.
is that what it's called? When
Yeah.
it's called MacGuffin.
That's a story element.
Like, remember the Golden Child? I want the night. Captain McGuffin.
MacGuffin. And then Karina destroys, and I wrote this, I spelled it correctly, everything.
Everything.
ERRYTHANG.
Everything.
Everything.
No,
Everything.
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 So I should have taken the Y out.
Everything.
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 You can leave it there, but don't make it so pronounced.
Yeah.
It's
It's
just
just
everything.
Let it roll off your tongue.
Everything.
Everything.
Every day.
Every day.
All day,
Every
every
day.
day.
Daycare is the first one I ever got right. Daycare, when I had to get to daycare.
Oh,
Everything. And then Gamora, Karina. So I looked her up too, and I guess she's like this is a thing. Like, she's a character that's in comics, I guess. She's the one who, because she decides I'm not a slave anymore, and she like
He said, not about that life, Playboy.
grabs the thing. Yeah. And so this way we get to see the demonstration of this whole thing is only can be used by somebody who's badass
Powerful
enough.
enough.
Powerful
It's way
enough,
too
yeah.
powerful, for a
Yeah,
mere
yeah.
human
Yeah. So
or
kinda like-
anything near.
mere mortals.
Yeah.
And then so she fucks it all up, like the collector's place, everybody's got to get out of there, and really just destroys the whole story. Like, the whole thing was, this was our guy to get our money, the movie's over, right? That this was the whole
Mhm.
goal. Get this.
Can't
so
have
something-
that though, guys.
Yeah, can't have that yet. Too early in the movie. And then they're back to square one. What are they going to do? And Gamora tries to convince Peter to try to save the universe. Quill still wants money, but you can see he's starting to change and say, yeah, that is probably the right thing to do. Rocket's like, what the hell? No, fuck everybody. Fuck everything. He's still the same. And then, and while they're all arguing about what to do next, should we do the good thing? Should we try to get money still? Drax called Ronan because all he wants is revenge.
He has a one-track mind.
He just wants revenge. And then, of course, they're like, oh shit, Ronan's here. This is all hell's gonna break loose. Then, oh crap, Yondu's here too. I almost call him Rondu. Now Yondu's here. And so it's all kinds of fucked up. Like, oh shit, it's all just gonna go.
It's a battle on all fronts. And Gamora's sister is a bitch.
Yeah, I was gonna say, TBJ, can you, as a woman who has a sister, can you explain this relationship? Is this normal?
I can't. Here's the thing.
Your dad's
Timbus
probably
and
not like
I-
Thanos.
No, Timbus and I are abnormal. Like, we are siblings who truly did not fight. So,
What?
like the little,
That's ridiculous.
I know. We didn't learn until we were adults, and people were like, "What?" And we're like, "Nah, we had sister dates. Like, we were those sisters. We like went on sister dates. We rode our bikes to Baskin Robbins together. When I was a teenager, I would take her out, and I think it worked because then she didn't bother to hang out with me or anything. Like, we had our time,
Aw.
and we just got along so much. Now, she was still a kid when I left home, but I
Yeah.
still would like come up with community service projects that we can do together while I was away in college and she could do at home.
Aw.
We were an odd parent. We still are. We don't really fight.
How many
and we
years?
get on each other's nerve. We're 6 years apart.
6 years. So that helps a little.
No,
bit.
because I have friends who I have one friend whose sister is 6 years apart, and she was like, she used to drag me down the stairs by my hair when we fought. And other people do. They talk about it. My sister is legit my friend. Do you know what I mean? Like we're not just sisters. And as different as we are, our core is the same. So I think we never got into like sibling bickering. Because we're so different and unique, our parents let us sit in that. So there was no weird comparison or attempting to be like the other.
No fighting for supremacy. Supremacy among the siblings.
Well, I'm the oldest in general, so there's no fighting me. Like even my half brother is like only 6 months younger than me, and there's no doubt that I am indeed the oldest. Like you can fight me if you want,
so
but
you reign supreme is basically what you say.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's pretty much your existence anywhere. I think nobody fucks with TPJ.
Yeah, I'm just who I am. I think I am a kind human, but I'm not that nice. I'm not as nice as people mistake me for often.
Right.
But I am a kind human. I'm going to point that out.
A Jedi.
Okay, human.
I'm a kind person, but I'm not that nice, which means don't try me.
You have some dark side tendencies. It's cool.
Dark side tendency. I just have a don't cross me tendency.
That's cool.
There's a reason I like Batman. Like there is a reason. I'm not above a Batman lifestyle. I would hope I go to therapy before we get that dark, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
At least you won't have bad hair.
I understand Batman for a reason. No, this Batman would not have a horrible hairstyle. But I don't understand Gamora's relationship with her sister because her sister gets salty before this mission. If you pay attention when Thanos is talking about his favorite daughter and she is over in the corner like stewing, like she is stewing. She's like, "Thanks, Dad." Like this is ongoing, and I would listen. She was ready to do harm to her sister. You didn't have to convince her.
So real quick, you guys talked about that hairstyle. Back to the Batman thing. I saw that trailer, and his hair looks like Pee Wee Herman and Mystery Men. That's
horrible,
what it looks like,
isn't it?
I can't even. Anytime I see a still of it, all I think about is his hair.
He looks like the spleen. All right. So the sisters. We're
at the battle.
Damn, yeah. And then the pod. We have the industrial pod chase.
Yeah.
Where he kind of they don't know what to do, and you hear Quill kind of say, "These are industrial pods, are basically indestructible." Yeah, but they can't shoot. That's not what I'm saying. Crash into everything, and they just bust into everything and destroy it, which is cool. It's like that side at the same time. We got Ronan fighting Drax, and then Drax gets defeated. The orb's gone. They take it away, and Gamora's dead out in space because she gets blasted out of there, and all seems lost at this point. And the movie's about to be over, and they all failed. And it's over. And I turned it off, and then I went home.
That's how it ended.
Yep, that's how it was. The movie.
You said you turned it off, and then you went home.
Yeah, of course I was. But if I was at the theater, I would have walked out and yelled, "Movie's over, everybody, go home." No, but it did seem, it's that despair. Everything's over. Everything's over. But then Quill saves her life. And though they say you can't, only one person can fit in the pod, you can't do that. You have to sacrifice yourself. So he puts his mask on her, and then calls Yondu, says, "Here's where I am." He knows Yondu wants him. Smart move, because then Yondu will come in the ship and save everybody. And meanwhile, Groot saves Drax, pulls him out of the thing, and gives him CPR. Groot CPR. And then
he flushed his lung.
Yeah. So, and then we get that moment where Quill tells Gamora what he did, how heroic he was, which is kind of neat. It was kind of funny. Where he was like, "I was really brave. I was really heroic." And then Quill talks Yondu out of killing him, and then they have to all be convinced to do the right thing. They're the whole Guardians of the Galaxy letter, the 12% of a plan thing. So he says, "Okay, I got a plan. We're going to do this. You're going to help me." He's like, "Okay, good. You're going to give us money. Go work on your plan." And they all argue, and they have to convince Rocket to get on board. And so the plan is to kill Ronan and get the stone. And then they come up with the whole plan, which I I mean, I'm a dumb guy again, so I had to kind of like listen to it all again. Like, you're gonna do what? You do what? And then some of the plan is just like, everything was detailed at the beginning, and it's like, and then we're gonna make our way all the way to him and kill him. It's like, wait a minute, are you missing some like?
It's only 12% of a plan.
That's true. It was only 12% of the plan. So yeah. So their whole plan to get the other people to help, the Nova people, Nova Corps people are going to help.
Corps.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then we get
the cool John C. Reilly thing.
Yeah, John C. Reilly's part of the plan, and and then when he explains it to Glenn Close, he's like,
he's not 100% a dick.
Yeah, he's an a-hole. He's not 100% a dick.
And that just made me so happy, that moment where he's like, see?
Yeah, and she's like, well, what do you think? Well, nobody's 100% of a dick. She's like, no, that's not what I'm saying.
It's John C. Reilly at his best.
So, yeah, John C. Reilly's character, here's where I have it written down. He's Roman Day from Nova issue number 1 from 1976. That's where that character shows up in the comics. And his wife and daughter were killed, and so he wants revenge. But he's about to die, and he wants revenge on this guy that killed his wife and daughter. So he gives his power to Richard Rider, who becomes Nova. And we talked a little bit about that in the earlier one, but that's kind of what
he is often joked that his name is Dick Rider.
Dick Rider, ha! Does he joke of that?
I'm surprised you didn't ha that real hard, Joe.
Right,
as mature as you are sometimes.
I didn't get that, but he talks about that. In the
it went over your head.
Yeah, I didn't hear it. I didn't. I
don't think the comics mention it. I just comic nerds mention it.
But he's got a brother mustache, doesn't he? Art like that one.
Yes, his brother is named Mustache.
Anyway,
is that his brother or his sister?
Oh, I
Mustache Rider.
Yeah, I guess it would be. Or it could be. Well, I guess it would.
Well,
be. Technically, I don't know.
We're going left. I can tell TBJ's not.
Yeah, let's snip this tangent in the bud.
She didn't come in.
Well,
I am slowly dying. I don't know how to keep telling you.
She didn't course correct us.
I'm just
Andy did. Andy just told you to snip it in the bud. So while my brain is moving slower and I am slowly becoming deceased, Andy's on top of it.
Only after I spoke up. You're welcome, Andy. You're welcome, Andy.
All right, let me just say this movie is the perfect. Why I love this movie so much is because this is the perfect Joe-verse movie, because every little secondary character that I find in this and I Google them, they're from some comic somewhere. Like they're all somebody, and they use all these. That's why I love the Marvel thing, that they use all these characters. But yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying, like, I like it. I already liked it coming in, but I love that this was a complete gear change from all the MCU movies that so far. It was like, all right, let's see how far we can go. We've proven we can do this successfully. Mm-hmm. Let's bring in the craziest Marvel shit we can and see how well it works. And they made it work really well. They had Peter Quill as the human element, and then they were able to go batshit all the way around it with the talking raccoon and a walking tree.
Right, there's a lot of space shit in it. Who doesn't love some space shit?
Yeah, it's
which
like,
is why I wanted to like it more than I did like it. Mm-hmm. I think I wanted to, but again, maybe my vibes were just off when I watched it.
I think for me, a lot of the music really made me like it too. Like,
the music is great.
The music makes you have to like. It's like, holy shit, he's this goofy guy that loves 70s music, and he brings a bunch of dumb bullshit, like where he's like, hey, I'm fucking with you and an asshole, and I say shit like that, so I guess that bit of it.
And Peter, like, just his character, like how he was taken back in the 80s, but then like his mind, like, and it's almost like he still has, it's almost like watching it's almost like watching like Back to the Future or something, and you have like this person who's kind of out of place, but he's referencing all of these other things, and like, so now maybe there's other people in this other world to know, like, what, teaching them about Footloose. Even like later on when we see him, when he like talking to Peter about, and what is it? Is it Endgame or Infinity War? He's talking to Peter about things that happen on Earth, and then like how Tony Stark realizes that he's from Earth, kind of thing. Where it's like he's a man child, like I think Drax calls him that at one point in one of the other movies. Like he has like a lot of man-child qualities, which I think endears to you a lot, Joe.
Yeah, it's what it's. Yeah, I can identify with him a lot.
Well, severely arrested development at age 8 or 10 or whenever, however old he was when he was abducted.
Exactly.
Just
boom. And
that's
then raised by a bunch of
maturity level.
Scavengers. Like, how is he going to mature?
Obviously not grown. Mature? There's no guidance to maturity in his upbringing.
Well, let's face it. Who's the main target audience of MCU? Marvel movies is comic book adults, like adults who love this shit when they were kids and they still love it. They know that. They know that that's their main. So this guy and this shit. But in hindsight, I gotta wonder now. In hindsight, looking back at all this stuff they've now we have this multiverse and all this stuff. I almost wonder if this was like a test to see like if they'll eat this up, then we can get into this multiverse bullshit. Like it'd be interesting to know how long they had this all planned. Like, did they have?
That's what I want to say. We've talked about this a lot about how like some of these things, like they're leaving along Easter eggs, Easter chicken, tidbits, crumpets, whatever you want to call it. So along the way, they can just constantly keep saying like, okay, we can have a callback to this. Sure, they may reshoot something or kind of add something in, but then it's okay. Remember in the Thor: The Dark World when such and such happened. This is how we got to this here in this movie, and this is like what happened back in Iron. It's like everything comes back eventually, but it's like you're sitting there, you're like saying, okay, this is going to be in this phase. Let's plan for this now. We're not going to really get too deep in it because the directors are different. So, but then they all, you have someone who's the quality control person or something like, okay, well, you have to kind of make sure that this is right because in X movie, he or she is going to do this where this character might somehow pop up or something that happened in this movie will probably pop up later on down the line. So like they're planning for that. So it's one of those things where it's like as the person who's viewing these movies, or like let's say if you even get into being like the super nerd and you're trying to break down like where did this come from, how did this all play out, you still have those moments where you'll probably have something like, well, damn, back in this movie they did this. Now they're kind of fucking up because they're reintroducing something which makes this null and void kind of thing. Like there have been movies now where it's like they've given us stuff only for like at the very end, only for when we see the movie where this thing might pop up at. It's almost like, well, that was kind of underwhelming, but it was there. And now what else could happen now that something else is still there? I'm trying not to spoil the certain aspect of another movie, but there's a thing that happened in one of the newer movies that also happened in another newer movie, which was so minute that it was almost like, I'm doing a callback to one of my earlier metaphors. It was like you got this big ass box and you was expecting something really big and it was just full of a shit ton of pack of peanuts and it was like something small inside. So they've done that recently. Marvel has. But who knows what's going to happen further down the road with that? Does that make any sense?
Yeah. Like they drop in this movie came, I think, directly from the Avengers dropping in a Thanos cameo at the end, just to sort of tease what might have come. So then people reacted positively to it, and they're all right. So now we've promised Thanos. What do we have to do to bring Thanos in? Well, his big story is the Infinity Gauntlet. The whole Infinity Gauntlet thing, so we can't bring in the Infinity Gauntlet without going into explaining some space shit because this is all space shit.
And if
Thanos is space shit, so we have to
super nerdy, picking with a kind of thing in the movie in the MCU kind of thing. Thanos was teased quite a few times, and each time before we actually got like full on Thanos, he looked different. Each time he looked, and at one point, one of the Thanos wasn't even played, like his character model wasn't even, it was James Brolin, but not James Brolin. But it's like, if you look at the Thanos.
It's Josh
Go-
Brolin. James
Josh Brolin,
Brolin
yeah, his father.
is Barbara
His father.
Streisand's husband.
Yeah,
Right,
and
that's
he's
his
in
father.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure, right?
Yeah,
But
Dad. That's his
but
dad.
Probably.
yeah, that's what.
but yeah, it is his dad. But
But it's like, you know, he even changes colors. Like he goes from being like this purplish to like this kind of pinkish. So
yeah,
so
well,
he-
yeah, it's like the first time we see him is the end of Avengers, and he's played by a different guy because they weren't really expecting to do anything other than have him turn around and do his famous evil Thanos grin. And then I think this is the next time we see him in person, and he's like a lot like chalkier, I guess, because he's in space and he does his little. Now it's Josh
and his
Brolin.
his chin is a little more different too. Like they even changed his chin a little.
So like he
shit
evolved
changes.
as the digital effects to create him involved, I guess.
So you know that's how it went. Like they didn't put that in the end of this or in the end of that other movie because they already did all this. Like you think that they did that and then got the reaction and then decided to do it. Like that's the order.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming that's like, all right, we'll go in this direction if this works, because they were in this phase one, they were still in like, is this going to work? How long can this work? Can we keep this success rate going? Or the first bomb going to derail everything and Disney will pull the plug and reboot everything? So once they got to Avengers, which was like the goal of having the shared universe in the first place, and they dropped that in, and I think they were pretty well like, all right, we can do this. How are we going to do this? I don't know how far in advance they plan, like several years at least.
That's what I'd like to know.
But they have
That's
have like a rough outline, and then it involves, all right, let's get down to the nitty gritty. Let's get screenwriters to hammer this out and hammer our story around these plot points we needed them to hit, and sometimes that works better than others. But I think it's very well planned. That's why they always need team players instead of like, they want to get big name directors, but they also want them to be able to play ball. And I think that's one of the reasons Jon Favreau stopped making the movies, is because he's not good at keeping track of all the stuff he's got to keep track of for sequels and stuff.
Okay.
He said, like, I want to just tell a story. I don't want to have to hit all these points. But he still really is a giant nerd and was involved in this and is executive producing a lot of stuff.
Art Star's having some technical difficulty.
I'm here. I'm here.
Well, it was making a bunch of noise, whatever you were doing.
Click, click, click.
Oh, my thing. Yeah, my what you call it? It came out. My thingamajig.
Art
Oh,
is
bye.
Art is
I don't want to know about your
wardrobe-
thingamajig coming out, Art.
Art's having a wardrobe malfunction, a la Janet Jackson.
Justin Timberlake just showed up and ripped off his shirt.
You mean Joe? Joe showed up and ripped off his shirt. But
hey, someday. All right.
Here's the thing.
No, let's not. Let's again nip this tangent in the bud. Let's keep going.
It's kind of amazing to me that Andy started that.
It's my fault.
It was
I'm taking
Andy.
responsibility.
Look, he took responsibility right off the bat.
I just want
Look
that
how
on
amazing
record. I want that on record.
For
It's on
which all right, we're in the big final battle, and Daenerys Saul, who is Supernova, shows up, and he says, "Oh, I got my dick message," which is great. And then Gamora says the line, "Oh, we're just like Kevin Bacon," which is funny, kind of a little callback.
A little callback to the Footloose,
yeah.
Cute.
And then the pilots do their lock-in blockade thing. Their whole plan is for all these Nova people to, I don't know, block the.
They're trying to keep Ronan from touching the planet's surface so he can just kill everybody, like we saw Celestial do in the Collector's little thing. You could eliminate all life on the planet with the power gem there.
And that's what he's going to destroy. Yeah, he just wants to kill everybody. And if they keep him from touching the ground, he won't die. So they're locking it in, trying to stop it. And then the Guardians are going to go in and bust in his ship.
They're building a shield.
Yes. And then Groot does the cool light magic thing. They get on the ground. They're on the ground, and he does the starry thing everywhere. And we get the Dax friendship thing.
You missed the whole "We Are Groot" thing, though.
No, that's later.
He's right when they're going into this.
This is when they're starting to go in. Yeah.
Okay.
And Drax says we're friends. You are my friend. I like you. Even the green whore in the dumb tree or whatever. And then there's lots of cool fighting. There's all kinds of cool kick-ass battle shit. And then Groot, there's that one scene, the 1 second where you gotta love Groot after this, when he destroys all those guys by like sticking his arm through them and knocking them all over the place, and he turns around and smiles.
That was like the moment that Groot let loose, right?
Yeah.
So he'd been like, he overkilled a little bit. He was like, I will keep going for a moment. But I think that was his moment of full aggression, because
gave them a flawless victory.
But when he turns around and smiles,
yeah, like he's a gentle giant, but he's also capable of stabbing 100 million people at once and slamming around in the hallways, and then
so he's like
shrugging it off.
Yeah, like me. So it works.
Groot is complex as well. He's not
don't
just
mess with him. That's what it boils down to. Don't mess with Groot.
Don't mess with him or his friends.
Yep.
And this was frustrating because Gamora needed to beat up her sister to get to that thing so they could get to Ronan. It was taking forever. I was like, God damn it, just kick her ass, kick Nebula's ass. And Nebula's annoying as fuck.
Nebula's tough.
Yeah, but they
Which
had
is supposed to be. It was good.
Yeah, she's also a beast. Like they're not. I think that's the whole point, right? Gamora is not hurt. Like they can be equals, but they were never. They were pitted against each other.
But Gamora kept letting her live. Like, just let her die and get the fucking thing. Like
it's her sister, though.
I know.
Her messed up sister from a messed up dad, and I think Nebula in the comics was different a little bit. Like, she had like long hair. She wasn't cybernetic until relatively recently. But she also, at one point, she gets a hold of the Infinity Gauntlet herself and does some stuff. And like, she was obsessed
in the comic book.
I might be a little hazy on this, but I think she was obsessed with being Thanos's. Like, she was claiming to be Thanos's granddaughter or something like that. Was insisting on it, and Thanos was like, "No, you're not." And she had like her own delusion. Yeah. And then eventually, she became some kind of space pirate, I think.
Well, we finally get to the part of the plot where I'm going to come in and shoot Ronan with this big gun thing that's supposed to kill him.
The Hadron Enforcer.
Yeah.
I should look that up and see if that's actually a thing.
Yeah, I was saying, now was that I
wonder if it's like a Hadron collider.
Yeah, it seemed like that was hastily introduced, this gun. All of a sudden it was like, oh, part of the plan is, I'll grab this giant gun we have that will destroy him. I was like,
it was the gun that Rocket was using to threaten them when they were trying to free Quill from Yondu's imprisonment. Right. He was trying to be a hero.
Right. That's
and
right.
Like,
okay.
It's a gun of my own design. It will destroy you. And then Quill's like, trying to destroy us all is not saving me. And he was like, what are you talking about?
That's right.
So that they had introduced that gun earlier, and they said, "Well,
okay, I missed that. Yeah, that's that same gun. Okay, that makes sense then." So then, but that gun, we think it kills Ronan. Okay, it's all saved, but then it doesn't kill him. And I kind of made a note here. It's like, well, that gun can't kill him, so nothing can kill him. But somehow the kamikaze can. When Rocket hits him with the ship, that's gonna kill him. But that, like, nothing's gonna kill him. Then we find out, of course, he's still alive even after that. But when the kamikaze happens and Rocket just has to, we got to kill him. Fuck it. And Rocket at this point is like, I don't care anymore about my life. We got to kill this guy, which is amazing.
Ride or die.
Because that's all Rocket cared about before, is money. And
he
like,
had
he's
a
now
character arc.
Yeah, he really did. And he's come, so he does that. And then we think Rocket's dead. We think Drax is dead. And then Groot does his magic whole "we are Groot" thing where he, grows himself around everybody because it's going to drop and destroy everything, and we have the big explosion. So
Rocket's like, no, what are you doing? You can't survive this. And that's when he goes, we are Groot.
We are Groot.
There you go.
And so he sacrifices
himself.
Yeah, we think Groot's dead. We'll never see him again. But Ronan, of course, is still fucking alive after all that. It's like, Ronan's still. And then everybody's like, oh shit. And then we see the turd blossom distraction. Where he's like doing the dance. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? He's like, I'm distracting you, you turd blossom. And he's doing the dancing stuff. And then I just wrote, teamwork makes the dream work at this point, because they all, because that's right. He jumps in and grabs the, I'll grab my garage doors opening. He grabs the stone, and then he's gonna explode, but then they all hold hands. That's when the teamwork makes the dream work.
And it's always funny to see Rocket's little hand going up to join their little slow motion hand holding thing.
You said it yourself. We're Guardians of the Galaxy, bitch. But then they blow up Ronan, the accuser, and then he never comes back. Right? This is the last we ever see him.
Well, he shows up in Captain Marvel, but that Captain Marvel is set before this movie.
So at the end, he switches the orb, gives Yondu the fake one, and then we see a little baby Groot, and then we get that post-credit scene with Howard the Duck. One question I have about this, and maybe we don't know the answer to this, but so he switches the orb, and we have that last scene where Yondu opens it up
and smiles.
He sees the troll, so he smiles.
Yeah, because he's like, damn right, kid. He doesn't expect him to act right. Does he? Does he
So
really
he
expect
kinda-
him to
he
act
just
right?
knows that his kid he fucked with him, and he got had.
Yeah, we get a little
Raised
more.
Or does
we
he
get-
like it? And
yeah.
think that's what it was all along?
Good. I would think that he realized that like Quill is still he's still he has a lot of Ravager tendencies. So like that's what a Ravager would do.
Yeah.
You know, the old bait and switch. You know, it's like it kind of warmed his heart, kind of thing.
Yeah, we get a little bit more about that in the Guardians 2
Oh,
about the
okay.
relationship between Yondu and Peter Quill in general, and
Okay.
how Yondu looks at it versus how Quill looks at it. And
So that'll be something I can look forward to then when we get to that.
yeah.
There you go.
In the year 2027 when we get to that point.
And also just as
All
a
y'all
teaser,
gotta do is stay an hour consistently every weekend. We could get done this year.
just as a teaser, Guardians 2 has cameos from like the original 1969 Guardians of the Galaxy team.
Ooh. Does it have a cameo from Cameo?
Word
Something's
up.
wrong with you.
No,
Word
it's
up.
just
Oh,
Chunky A.
Chunky A. Yes. Chunky A is the best. All right. So that's the end of the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. And I have to keep talking over the garage door closing.
Listen,
because
this
my
is real
podcast
life,
is-
people. It's
Yeah,
real
this is
life.
my podcast is in my garage. And it's garbage night. So and speaking of garbage,
Garbage night.
speaking of garbage,
Garbaggio.
white trash Andy has something to say.
Did you call him white trash Andy?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
it
his
is
name.
garbage night.
Yeah.
This is how siblings are. That's why I don't
Yeah.
know what it looks like.
That's true. Turn that
Have you
I
looked
yell,
up?
at,
All right.
I yell at my kids all the time when they're bickering and doing sibling things. Like, I don't understand this. 'Cause I don't.
Have you looked up
It's
the
fun to
garbage
fight
day
with
clip?
siblings.
You said what? Art?
It's fun to fight with siblings.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't.
Art's a younger brother of a bunch of sisters. So
I'm
he
not-
always had to
I'm
wear
not.
makeup.
I'm the middle. I'm like number 2.
Oh, you're
four.
number 2. That's right.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
But I had all sisters.
It's
so
all sisters. So you had to play dress up and they
No.
tried out makeup on you.
No,
It's like,
no.
if they did, it would be okay, Art. It's
Sorry,
okay.
Jeff.
Nothing wrong with that.
Did not happen.
All
It's
right.
okay.
Okay, we're at the end of the movie. How many stars are we giving it? Out
Oh,
of,
I really
Mine is
out of
4.5.
out of 17.
Mine is
5.
16.7.
We have not kept a consistent rating system at all.
I
Are we
give
doing-
it 3 Joes and an Andy.
How many nerd boners
I don't know
do
what
you give it?
that means.
How many nerd boners do you give it?
0.
I give
4
it
and a half.
8 nerd boners.
4.5 out of 5.
No, I thought it was great. It was really good. It was
Yeah,
one of my
pretty good.
favorites so far.
Yeah, it was great, and it was different and weird and silly, and they didn't make it some big thing where he's trying to get back to Earth. It was just he's happy out in space doing his space stuff, and I like one of the best things about Star Wars is that it's all nothing to do with Earth. It's
Yeah.
all space stuff.
also-
Let's
Yeah.
do space stuff.
So, but we also we didn't mention that like we also find out that he's only half human at the end of this movie.
Oh, you're
yeah, I
right.
forgot about that. Yeah, I think we mentioned in the last episode, like
Mhm.
offhand, but that's a good point. That was a big important point. That
A
at the
reveal.
end,
Uh-huh.
yeah, they revealed, and then his dad. They kind of hinted that his dad. They're gonna find him, or whatever.
Yeah,
His dad
they-
was who sent for him.
Who sent
Yeah.
for him? Yeah, and they should have delivered him, or whatever. They talk about that a little bit, but
in the comics, his dad is someone different than he turns out to
Yeah.
be in the next movie. In the comics, he's a guy named Jason from planet Spartois or and he's got a whole.
I almost said Jason Voorhees. What is he?
No,
doing?
Spartax. It's from the planet Spartax, I think. Like he's got this
Spandex?
huge, like army of jerkwad conquerors. It fits. It
And I kind of figure that's why they give him the whole Peter Jason Quill thing, because it's like a callback.
Oh yeah,
his dad, his comic dad.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Okay.
You know, in the movies, we get Mr. as Joe like to want to call him, the guy with the punchable face's dad is his dad.
Hawkeye?
No, not Hawkeye.
Hawkeye
U.S.
is
agent.
not.
U.S. agent. When you say he had a punchable face, I think his name is Jack Russell.
Joe hates everybody, so I don't know how you.
Wait,
can
who's
narrow
got the
it down.
punchable face?
U.S. agent from Falcon and Winter Soldier. The guy that took
Clint Eastwood's son.
Wyatt Russell.
Or
Wyatt
Kurt
Russell. Yeah, Wyatt.
Oh,
Kurt
Wyatt
Russell's
Russell,
son,
Kurt
sorry.
Russell's son. That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay, got it. Yeah, he does have a punchable face. God, I want to punch that guy. But he would whoop my ass, of course. But
Yes.
but Clint Barton's got more of a punchable face. But yeah,
Clint Martin does not have a punchable face. We're just
he's got a shovel.
biased.
You want to hit him with a shovel.
You're so biased.
But no,
Oh
with
my
Guardians of the Galaxy,
God.
I will say I did not think I would care about this when I remember going into it the first time and being like, who the fuck are these people? I don't have time to learn any more people. If it's not Captain America and Hulk and those guys, it's not Star Wars. Fuck it, because I can't. I don't want to. What is all this crap? But it was good, and I will say I already knew Chris Pratt from Parks and Rec and liked him, but I didn't know, as of course before we heard all this stuff about him murdering babies or whatever he did, killed Jam Master Jay or.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did. He's
did.
the reason we don't have Tupac. It's Pratt.
He killed Tupac. He killed Biggie. Killed Jam Master Jay.
It's all Pratt. Now, don't let his wife hear you. She will be sad that you hurt his feelings.
Did you get her dad on you?
Rest in
She
peace,
was
Louis
very
Anderson.
upset when he was the least favorite Chris. It was not fair. But I was like, let's be real. Hemsworth or Pratt? Evans or Pratt? Sorry, it's always going to be a Hemsworth or an Evans.
Oh,
What about Christopher Maloney?
He's gotten in recent trouble.
I gotta
So
say,
no.
I like.
What
him.
about Christopher Reeve?
He is not alive, so that's
Dead.
no.
Chris Pratt, to me, at this point where we're at in the MCU, is probably my favorite. Like I even like him better than Thor and Captain America, but I'm not huge fans. I don't hate Thor and Captain America, but this character is really cool and he did a great job with it. So
I
regardless of
think
who
Art
he
hit
is.
it on the
at some
head
point.
of why you like him. I think Art hit it on the head when he says he's
Yeah.
basically a man child, which
Yeah,
is
he's a
you.
man child. He likes farts. He
Yeah.
gets a lot of action. He
He's on
says
your level.
a-holes. And yeah, he talks like me. Talks like a typical bro, you know.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know.
I can see why you love him. Like I said, it wasn't my jam. I think there are moments in here that are good, but I literally did watch my clock. Like, is it done yet? And again, I wanted to love it. I do love Groot. I do love Gamora. I do find the sibling relationship fascinating, but that was it.
So if there's a Groot and Gamora show later, you'll watch that.
I'm in. Let's do it. Buddy cop adventure.
Yeah.
Groot and Gamora. G&G boom.
Yeah,
Let's
baby.
do it.
And I imagine you'll like the sequel a little better because it goes more into the Gamora Nebula dynamic, and there's a different kind of Groot that is teased at the end of this that you might like. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it already, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
do
Zoe.
Uh-oh, Andy. You already
Saldana.
That's all, folks. Zoe Saldana. Is that her name? Zoe Saldana? Am I saying that right?
uh-huh.
Saldana.
She's so beautiful.
She
I don't
is
know why I don't-
beautiful and
I thought I
talented.
think I had another point, but I was just like,
Right, I was like, we were like, okay, you're right.
We know that, Joe.
I
You're aware. She's also talented. Yes,
well,
talented.
it needs, I'm the first person to ever say that.
Are you? Are you really? You sure about that?
Yeah, I'm the first. I discovered her beauty in this.
Oh, interesting.
And Karen Gillan shaved her head to play Nebula, which was
Okay, Karen Gillan, is she a well-known actress?
From Doctor Who. She got famous on that show.
Oh shit, I meant to
And
watch
there was she did
Gillan.
a big reveal, I think, at Comic-Con or something. She came out with a wig for the Guardians of the Galaxy panel before it came out, and then she sort of revealed that she'd shaved her head by taking off the wig in front of everybody. And everyone was like, "Oh my god,
That is dedication.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know what she looked
Hey,
like. She's beautiful.
heads up,
too.
though. I think, don't we see her in the MCU somewhere else?
as a different character."
Yeah. Hold on. Give me 2
not sure.
seconds. I think we do.
Oh
Mine
my
too.
gosh, that's great. I
Mine too.
love it when
mean,
people.
She easily
Hold on.
could, because she
I
looks
love
so
it.
different.
I love it. Yeah, she's beautiful. I love it when beautiful
I'm
people
about
aren't
to
afraid to
I'm
not
about
look
to
beautiful.
double check my. I think she plays a younger version of another character. Come on, phone.
Come on.
She's gonna be in Jumanji 4.
You can do it.
I love it.
Wait,
Go
they've already
ahead,
got 4 of them? I thought they only
I
had
don't-
2 so far.
I don't. What do I know?
No, I don't remember.
Did they have a third Jumanji already?
Who knows?
Maybe the one, maybe they counted. I don't. The last one was with. I didn't even watch the last one. I thought it was y'all
Danny
think
DeVito in it.
I
Who
thought it was
pooped the
only
bed?
2 with
Man,
Danny
she's
DeVito-
been in so many movies.
Danny
Sorry,
DeVito will
Brian.
never top the Who Pooped the Bed episode of Always Sunny. Who pooped the bed? There's
No,
an
she
episode called Who
doesn't.
Pooped the Bed. There's an episode of a show called Who Pooped the Bed. No,
No, it's not her.
okay. So
Excuse me. Sorry, guys.
TBJ gives it 1 star. Art gives it 3.5. Andy gives
don't
it
give
4.
it
No, I gave
one.
it 4.5.
That's what I said.
No, you gave it 3 Joes and an Andy, and I don't know what that meant.
Oh, that must mean a 95.
That was in the Joe break, but in the very beginning, I gave it 4.5.
Well, each
Yeah, I didn't give it
is
a
worth
1.
10.
I would give it a
Andy's worth a piece of poop in a
3.
bed.
3.
Give it a 3. Okay, that's still pretty good for a movie. You didn't
Yeah, it's
like.
not a bad movie. It just wasn't my
It's just not your
jam.
favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
not my
good.
jam.
So if you were in hell, as TBJ, and everything was awful and horrible, and one day they said, okay, you get to watch only this one Marvel movie, either that or you watch awful hell movies, and it's Guardians of the Galaxy, would you say, yes, I'll watch that, or I'll watch an awful hell movie instead?
No, I'll watch it.
I don't know.
I
What a
don't
stupid
hate it.
question
I said
that
I
was.
didn't hate it. It just wasn't
It's
my
a
jam.
weird scenario that I just brought
It
up.
is a weird scenario.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm not going to hell. But second of all, I didn't hate it. It just wasn't my jam.
Wouldn't
Like,
wouldn't it suck for you though if you did go to hell and then and they said, well, why I was a good person, why'd I go to hell? They said you should have been nicer to Art Star.
Are we in the good place right now? Are we in the good place where I think I'm in one place and actually in the other?
I don't know, maybe.
Have you
that's
never
a good
watched that
show, The
TV
Good
show?
Place. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great show. That's a good show. Starring Ted
no.
Danson, whose birthday is
Yep.
December 29th.
Of course you know that. Of course you know that.
Well, there's a Twitter
kinda-
account called Is Today Ted Danson's Birthday? And all it does all year round is every day it says today is not Ted Danson's birthday. And it says that every day, tweets that every day, except on his birthday. It says today is Ted Danson's
Wow.
birthday. And it's got a
Really?
bunch of followers and people retweet it all the time. It's hilarious.
Lord.
That
That's a
sounds
Twitter
like the is abevagodaalive.com or something that you go to there and all it said was yes until he died. Now it says no.
No, it says
Oh no.
Reminds me of lemonparty.org also.
No. All right.
Okay.
See you later. Let's let TBJ get some rest. I'm
Yeah,
not
it's the end
letting
of this
I
episode.
appreciate you, Andy.
Thanks for listening. Nerd Hive.
Thanks, nerds. Later, nerds.
Let's all hear
See
from
you in the
TBJ.
funny papers.
So
She got through
Avengers
this.
Age of Ultron is next, right?
Yeah, and I'm ready. I was prepped for it to talk about it today.
Language.
They say I can't rap about the president no more, but evidently they don't see we in the streets still poor. Still more incarceration of my kinsmen by the prisons, and people thinking this election to end in racism. Proud over pessimism, glad to see Obama, but don't expect me not to speak out when I still see problems.
The Nerd School Podcast.
QueenCityPodcastNetwork.com.
Listen, people can make fun of me for my holiday movies all we want to, but I'm like, are you alive? Did I fuss at you today? Did I yell about anything? All right, then. You're welcome. You better thank Hallmark for keeping me safe.